Welcome back to Hidden Power. This is a Pokemon podcast, and today we're discussing every single thing we could see from Pokemon in Game Freak in 2026. We're on the horizon of the 30th year anniversary, and we're all anticipating Generation 10. A lot of what we're going to be talking about today comes from the rumor mill, but a lot of it is also highly credible. We want to talk about the release schedule for future Pokemon games. What will a next generation Pokemon game actually look like? Are we going to get a new Legends game? What's the likelihood that we actually get a Pokemon Ports collection? And of course, we've got all sorts of other side games like Pokopia. We're talking about the future of Pokemon today. Welcome if you're a new listener, and buckle up if you're a regular. My name is DustyGogoat, and I'm joined by TraderLumi today.
Hello.
And SoulSilverArt.
What's up? We've been putting a lot on this whole Gen 10 thing and the 30th anniversary specifically as fans, and I'm wondering if Game Freak will do the same based on this list that we see and that we've come up with. It's like it seems that the 30th anniversary is going to be a big deal. There's going to be a lot coming out. And I would, when thinking about this, I would think about the 20th anniversary, which was Sun and Moon's release in 2016, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 2016.
2026. That's the like how we can compare, the 30th anniversary to the 20th anniversary. What did they do for the 20th, and like how much more are they going to do in the 30th? Essentially, is what I'm thinking in my mind.
And it was a big year. 2016 was a huge year. I mean, not only the release of Sun and Moon, but specifically the marketing cycle for Sun and Moon. They, were just dropping trailers. It felt like every day. It wasn't every day. It felt like every day.
Before we get too far into this, I do want to say something. I'm always talking about what Pokemon could do next, but imagine a game that actually does it. Monster catching meets Zelda exploration with Octopath Traveler style art. That's today's sponsor, Alestral's Awakened. This is a 2.5D pixel art monster catching RPG coming to PC and the Nintendo Switch, built around Greek mythology. And I don't think we're getting a Greek-inspired Pokemon game anytime soon. You'll bond with one of 8 elemental spirits and train over 100 different Alestrals, challenge gods like Zeus and Poseidon, explore ruined temples, and hunt for rare stellar Alestrals. This is like if a shiny Pokemon actually had busted stats. As your team levels up, you can ascend or nexus them into new evolutions. It's that perfect mix of discovery, strategy, and lore that Pokemon fans like us always want more of. Backing for this project is only open until November 7th, and this is your one chance to get alpha and beta access, unlock exclusive in-game rewards, you can grab limited Kickstarter promo packs and add-ons, and even appear in-game as an NPC or caster. This game is a passion project with massive potential, so if you ever wanted to support a game that actually listens to fans like us, fans of creature collecting worlds, now's the time. Back Alestral's Awakened on Kickstarter while you still can. You'll find links below in the description or in the pinned comment. I'm always yapping about what I want to see in a Pokemon game, and this game does so many things right.
We'll probably want to hype this game up as much as possible. I know they've changed their marketing a bit, but I do think that it'll be hype, and maybe not even just for Gen 10, but for all of these titles. There'll be things coming out, like new trailers coming out for these things. So, yeah.
I think, over the last, over the span of all of these new Pokemon games, these console games on Switch, right? There's been a lot of growing pains. Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of, I think there's been a lot of great moments, but there's been a lot of growing pains is the only way I can say it, right? I think fans are pretty much split, and I think going into this Switch 2 era, right? We're all playing Legends ZA, and I do think the community is kind of split, at least online. I think in real life, people are enjoying Legends ZA. I personally think there's a lot of great lessons we can, the Game Freak can continue to carry on from what is in Legends ZA. But going into this new era where we're going to be getting true console games on this next gen console, on the Switch 2, during this period of, celebration, right? The 30th year anniversary, during this major milestone, Generation 10, I think what we're expecting is for Game Freak to just kind of go all out, right? I was saying that this year, this time period, this next, not only year, but this next 3 years, right? This whole generation period, it has felt mythical to me, because I think I think we're looking back at our favorite moments in time, in our favorite Pokemon games, our favorite eras, and we're hoping that Game Freak can capture a little bit of that magic again.
Right.
And so, like I said, there's been a lot of growing pains, and I want this to be like a rebirth of the franchise. I really do. I want Game Freak to. I get these moments, right, with Legends ZA even, where I'm like, I get these moments, these feelings of greatness, right, where I'm so proud to be a Pokemon fan. I'm just like having such a good time playing these games, and I want the whole community to just like band around that. Like I want everyone to feel that. So let's get into this timeline. 2026, maybe before. So right now, just to be clear, it is October 30th. We're expecting DLC for Legends ZA that has been announced. Mega Dimension is the DLC, and there's a lot of things that I think we're expecting in that. Some new mythical Pokemon. We're obviously going to get some new Mega Pokemon. New Legends are going to be added to the game. Let's tackle Mega Dimension right now. Is there anything off the top of your head that you think is going to be in that game?
I mean, like you said, DLC? We know. So from the release of ZA, there's like been a data mine, and we know a lot about the Pokemon that are returning. In fact, at the time of discussing this, it actually got leaked yesterday from like the data mine of the Terra leak, I believe, that at least at one point Karina was scheduled to like return in this DLC, who was a pretty prominent character in Pokemon X and Y and with Mega Evolution and all. So that's very fitting for Mega Dimension. So I think it'll be very focused on Mega Evolution. We do have a list of Pokemon getting Mega Evolutions.
Yes.
And, some of them are like your common Pokemon, but also some of these are wild picks. Like some of these are a lot of mythical Pokemon, legendary Pokemon. So I think the thing I'm expecting from the DLC is the unexpected. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be kind of absurd.
I think absurd is a good word.
Yeah. We haven't talked about it too much, but I feel like the way that the DLC is actually going to play out, this is how I'm hoping it's going to play out. We have all these new megas. I think we're obviously going to battle these megas through the max raid, not max raids,
Rogues.
The rogue mega raids. That's how we're going to like discover and then capture the Pokemon.
I think so too, yeah.
But I guess I'm kind of imagining that each mega portal is going to give us access to basically a little wild zone, but it's going to be like a dimensional wild zone, right? We're going to go through in the dimension, and we could end up anywhere in the Pokemon universe. They could be like, just random made up locations, or they could be familiar locations, from Johto, Hoenn, Unova, wherever. That's kind of what I'm hoping to see.
That would be really cool. It's a fun theory for sure. They could do anything with it because of all of that. Yeah. I will say that I think that the DLC most likely will come out this year is what I'm thinking. We are talking about 2026. I'm thinking, but there could possibly be a second DLC, and that's where it does go into 2026. Also the forms that were data mined were not all said to be megas. Like it's just forms. So like it could be anything to be honest. Sure. Yeah, sure. Just the technicality, but it is interesting. It obviously should probably be megas. Yeah. It's Mega Dimension. Right. ZA only had megas. There were all
those mega stones that were in the trailer, and people are now realizing there's one of the leaked megas is Crabominable, and one of those mega stones is like so Crabominable coated.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure.
No one wants to believe it, but Crabominable is real.
So
the Mega
upset.
Crab. The Mega Crab.
I'm not as upset, to be honest.
No, it'll be cool.
Listen, I hate it, but I think that Megas like fix designs sometimes, and so I'm just like optimistic. Okay. Anyway, neither here nor there.
It can't get worse. It's all uphill.
It really
from here.
That's kind of it. It can't get worse. You're right.
But no.
So when do we think this? So explain to me a little bit more the second Mega Dimension DLC. Like explain that to me a little bit more. I guess all they've revealed to us. Oh, you're saying it would be a
second DLC.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this backed by anything? This is cool.
I think that's more of a theory. I would say I would say it can be anything. We just have heard whispers of a second DLC. Just to give you the details of it all, we've heard whispers of a second DLC. It might have been cut at this point. We don't even know. So Mega Dimension could be like Mega Dimension, and then have like another title under it, and that could be, you know what I'm saying? That's like the opposite of what you're saying, Lumi. Or it could be a whole nother thing where it's not Mega Dimension, and it's like, I don't know, Mega this, and it's like a whole different thing in Southern Kalos or something, right?
Stop! You're playing with my heart.
But I think if there is a second DLC, it would be much smaller in scope. Sure. Personally, I think it will not be like Mega Dimension. I think is the big draw. I don't think that, and especially because if a second DLC were to come out, I would imagine it would come out after Pokemon Day, because what we have right now is the date for the Mega Dimension DLC. The placeholder date is February 28th after Pokemon Day. So I think that that's the block for Mega Dimension. Then after Pokemon Day, there could be something there, because when we think about how the year's going to go, after Pokemon Day, there's usually nothing on the new generation until like May or June. You know what I mean? And so from that time period, there's a nice little block of time right in there that they could fit in like a small DLC patch in, whatever. It might even be like Daybreak for Legends Arceus, but we get like, 5 new megas or something. That's what I'm thinking about.
An epilogue, even.
An epilogue
DLC. They didn't even market Mochi Mayhem, but they did reveal, hey, guess what? We got a surprise for you. You bought the DLC. Here's the epilogue.
That's even better.
Cool. And you know what that could be? You know what that could be? That could be Mewtwo. That could be Volcanion.
It better be Volcanion. Okay, I'm sick of Volcanion being the ugly stepchild of the Kalos Mythicals. I'm sick of that.
Can you imagine the epilogue? So Mega Dimension is we go through all these portals and we're doing the battles and we're doing the rogue megas, and then they give us an epilogue and they go, guess what? Anyone can do this. You don't even need to buy. You don't need to buy DLC because that's kind of optional. Anyone who buys Legends ZA, guess what? The epilogue is you hop on the train, which we already know you can hop on. You can literally get onto the train.
Yeah.
You get on the train and it brings you to a random little spot, a new little city, a slightly different vibe. Maybe it's a little bit tropical.
I'm getting chills.
Me too. And then there's Volcanion. It's a little thing. It's just a little thing. It's not this massive.
You are accidentally leaking. You are accidentally leaking because
am I spitting while I talk? What do you mean?
There's no. You're giving out stuff that actually is planned. There's stuff in the code for ZA that there is a Diancie focused side quest and a Mewtwo focused side quest that is going to be somehow tied to an event, whether that's a mystery gift or whether it's saved data that they're going to be like, oh, if you have Scarlet and Violet saved data, you can do this. But it's actually it's so much in the coding of these games that if you were to hack your game, you actually can play these missions.
Yeah, people have been doing that, which was the same for Mochi Mayhem, by the way. Okay. Mochi Mayhem, they hacked it in to Scarlet and Violet way before it ever came out.
Sure, with the Indigo Disc, yeah.
I do want to touch on Volcanion because, okay, so Mega Dimension is about Hoopa, right? Mm-hmm. But Hoopa's not in the base game. Same thing goes for Mewtwo and Diancie. And then Volcanion, there's nothing in the data about Volcanion getting a special little event like all 3 of these Pokemon are getting, essentially. You know what I mean? So Volcanion is this weird, how are they going to add Volcanion in? Because it's not in the ZA decks right now, and it's not technically in the game, right? It is, you can put it in the game, but it's not technically a part of the official ZA is what I'm trying to say, if that makes sense. So how are they going to introduce Volcanion into the game? They could just drop it in with all of the new Pokemon that are added in the DLC. Yeah. Seems lackluster, but they could have been saving it for this potential DLC 2 or whatever you want to call it, mini DLC. That could totally be a thing, in my opinion. It's just it's a big question mark, what's going on with Volcanion right now, in my opinion.
Well, I'm looking forward to finding out. You guys have gotten me pretty excited for Mega Dimension. I was ready to kind of brush over this, but I'm just having fun with Legends EA, and to think that there is more stuff on the horizon.
Yes,
that's pretty big. That's pretty big. Actually, not even to mention, and we got confirmation today, but people currently we just found out that you can get the Mega. Help me out with this Delphoxite.
Yes,
but you can still get the Greninjaite, which tells me that these Mega Stones for these Mega Pokemon will be available long-term and into the future. I know we were arguing about that in the past. And that also tells me that we might be able to get additional Mega Stones for some, maybe even new Pokemon through the online battle format.
No,
but
that's something too. Like talking about going into 2026, there's no way they don't, at least for that first part of 2026, do more ranked rewards. Now, maybe they won't be as exciting because like Greninja, Delphox, and Chestnut are like new megas. We've never had those before.
Yeah.
They might be a little more boring and be the Sceptilite, the Swampert, and Blazikenite.
But that's not boring, though.
I mean, no, it's not boring.
It's brand new in the game. It's brand new in this game. That's not boring.
Yeah, it's not boring, but come on. It's not a new mega, so I think that this is definitely more exciting.
Stomp.
I would argue that people would prefer the Hoenn like old mega starters instead of a new one being locked behind that. Like people are like,
I can agree with that.
Don't lock my new megas that you're giving me that I'm paying for essentially in this DLC. So like I think that it's actually genius. I think it's the most logical thing if they do the Hoenn starters. This does essentially prove that in my opinion. Like it's 99% confirmed. Because Greninjite and Delphoxite are in the same season 2. That means in season 3, all three of them, I guess Chestnut, that's what we're going to call it. Yeah, all three of them will be available in season 3. So then in season 4, which is going to be like January, they
probably start like mid-December.
Yeah. They're not going to just reset those three again. It makes sense that they're going to introduce a new mega stone there, and I don't know who it'll be or what it'll be, but I think that this ranked battle system, this is maybe a whole another topic, but this whole ranked battle system that they have going on that they put in this game, I think they really do want it to flourish and continue on, kind of like how the raids in Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet have been. Like they last throughout the years. I think that this whole thing will be going almost for at least until Pokemon Day, maybe after Pokemon Day. It's very hard to say, but
I think it'll go all year long. People are
I think so too. It's just I'm thinking about the rank. Yeah, I agree. I'm just thinking about the ranked rewards, which also brings up this whole thing. That's why I'm glad you brought this up. Like, if we don't get a DLC 2, if it was truly cut, if they had megas planned for that DLC 2, could we see them push out this ranked battle system all year long? And then what they do is, hey, every month you're going to get a new mega for these next 6 months or 5 months. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. I would be so pumped for that. That'd be awesome.
I would absolutely love it personally.
And these starter Pokemon being the reward and being part of the promotional cycle for the game, it primes the majority of people who have Legends EA to understand and to interact with this new method of distribution. So like, it's not even like a random thing that you have to learn. It's not GameStop, right? It's like, you just people know how to do it. It's accessible. It's not harder than you think. When we got the game, we all thought the online ranked was going to be difficult. It's not hard. I mean, it's just you're battling in the game. So I can totally see that. We got to move on, but this is super fun. This is getting me really excited.
We'll do more DLC content for sure.
Yeah, this is getting me really pumped. But I guess Mega Dimension DLC is to be expected in the next couple months. But that does bring us up to February 27th, or
it's 27th.
Yeah, 27th is right.
Okay, I second guessed myself. It brings us up to February 27th, which is Pokemon Day, and that marks the 30th year anniversary, which as a fan is exciting, but I think also what is more tangibly exciting is that they're going to announce a bunch of new Pokemon games and products and whatever, but also Generation 10 starter Pokemon region reveal, legendary reveal, maybe box art. Where's our brain? Where's our head at with this?
Maybe not box art. Box art's usually actually like May, June. But but the
I don't even care.
Like the logos, the starter Pokemon are very possible. They have starter with Pokemon Sun and Moon. They didn't reveal the starter Pokemon on the day they revealed hopefully
the starter Pokemon are locked in.
It's become tradition at this point. If we don't,
that's the discussion piece. So, okay, can one of you guys set up for any of our listeners who maybe are out of the loop, and maybe we have some people joining? Actually, we did a call-in show recently, and it's honestly so great to hear how people discover the show, and I'm sure there's a ton of new people enjoying the show right now who just got back into Pokemon because of Legends EA, or maybe because of Pokemon Sleep or something else. Anyways, regardless, can someone tell me what we're expecting, what we know about Generation 10? And I guess I'll say mild spoilers Where are we at right now with our anticipation and what we might know about this game, about this Generation 10 game?
I would say pretty big spoilers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, we talk about spoilers. We've been talking about spoilers on this, so I mean, yeah, we're just gonna probably dig into it a little bit. We'll keep it top level, right? So, I guess we know that it's an island hopping game. We know that it's supposed to be MMO like, possibly
have MMO features. Yeah,
MMO features. Okay,
and what are those?
Those are
that's y'all. I'm not doing that again. Not falling for that one.
So an MMO is essentially when you play online with like tons of people online. Like everyone is playing the game online essentially. That's kind of the very base way of describing it
in the RPG world,
right? In an RPG, MMORPG, yes.
Yeah, not just in an online area. That's cool. That's exciting. But yeah, the island hopping adventure. So like I think a lot of people are imagining like, we're gonna have a ride Pokemon that is a boat, maybe, or maybe we're on a boat.
That's actually been a big part of the discussion when they pitched it. Was they said that I don't think they will accomplish this goal. This is from a pitch, but they said the goal is for you to be able to ride or touch, like pet, every single Pokemon.
Which is something missing from ZA, by the way. There's been many times where I wanted to like pet my Pokemon or like interact with it, and I can't. I hope that goes through. I do also want to say, like Lumi brought up a good point. All of this is from a pitch of, it's a leak of a pitch of Gen 10. So some of the things could very much be changed. That's why it's like light spoilers too, because things can change. So what else do we got? I mean, do we want to say what it's based on? Do we want to go there?
I wanted to kind of
lay it out. I don't think these are actually spoilers. These are like it's information, but it's like, well, what's this? I don't know. It's like it's not like we know the plot of the game. None of this is even confirmed.
I mean, we technically know 3 Pokemon kind of. But
I would say it all right now. People want to know.
I did want to touch on with the MMORPG features. So what it is this game's supposed to have some procedural generation, which is basically like your actions will dictate how things play out throughout the game. And so that ultimately makes it where Dusty's region might be a little bit different from mine. My region might be a little bit different from Soul's. There's even supposed to be a Pokemon whose evolution is dictated by your actions throughout the game. So Dusty's Pokemon, we can all 3 evolve our Pokemon. Dusty's will look different from Soul's, which will look different from mine, which will look different from yours. Watching the show, and that's where the MMO features kind of come in. Since there's going to be some differences in our regions, that might even go down to like the wild Pokemon that we can find. Okay, well, that's not very fair. Soul can find Eevee. I can't find Eevee anywhere on my game. Well, I'd be able to go to Soul's world, so to speak, and be able to find like the Pokemon that he has, or explore the locations he has that look a little different on my game.
No, I like this a lot. It almost reminds me of like Pokemon Go. I'm playing ZA right now, and I did hit the end of the game, and I was a little bummed out that it's like the 10 Pokemon that you can get in every wild zone is like the only Pokemon you can get in each of those wild zones. And I feel like a game like this that we're kind of expecting to see in Generation 10 is cool, because there is this the game will stay fresh probably forever, right? It's like every time you boot it up, there's still an algorithm that determines where Pokemon can show up, but like that's kind of awesome. Like I think we like shiny Pokemon because it's like they're unexpected, right? And if every Pokemon can feel kind of unexpected, that's cool. And that adds to its story. If you find a Goomy in the mountains, you're like, you shouldn't be here. Or an Eevee in like a volcano area, you're like, Eevee, you're not supposed to be here. And if you catch that Eevee in the volcano, obviously you're like, okay, this thing's got to evolve into a Flareon, right? Like there's storytelling you can do in your mind. That's really exciting.
It's a crazy concept. I do think like just bringing up all those concepts put together, it's like, how much are they going to share, and how much is in store for the entire year? Because that's what we're talking about, right? The whole year. It's like, that's what I mean. They could show so much from this game throughout the year, because there's so much to be shown. I think it's like what you were talking about, Dusty, like kind of with Gen 11, but I think Gen 10 is honestly the time that they are doing something really new and really crazy. I think it'll last too. Like it feels like a game that is meant to be played longer than your regular Pokemon game. So that's why this whole thing lasts, like what we're talking about is to 2028, 2029. Gen 10 can, the actual game itself could even last that long.
Which actually makes sense too, because the documents show too that they like planned for this to last, I think, up to 2030, like with other games in the generation.
Sure.
But typically our generations last like 3 years. In fact, people were kind of bummed about this generation because it was like a 4-year generation.
Yeah.
This one, looks like it might also be like a 4-year one, which is cool too, because people have been saying they want Game Freak to take more time working on their games. And, that I guess they're listening. Also, it will have a new engine. They've built a new engine for this game, which is big for, a lot of people. And they're even remodeling some, if not all, of the Pokemon.
Yeah, which is pretty sweet. That's cool to
insane,
see. That's something that like maybe you don't think about as like a player, but because I do think Pokemon will it does continue to look better and better. But like there are certain models that they've already, I guess remade in the last, I guess in Generation 9, Charizard, Blastoise, Venusaur actually look good. Like there's a lot of Pokemon that they've remodeled that look so incredible. I guess I also want to say like the rumored name for this game, for this Generation 10 game, and we can call it this going forward, is Winds and Waves. That was the rumored pitch, or sorry, that was the rumored. It's convoluted, but that's what fans had kind of decided the game would be called.
Theorized.
And then in some of this like leaked information, it seems like Winds and Waves was real.
Actually, it's funny. It's specifically the singular version of it. So it's wind and wave. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like that's
they
where
were referring
most.
To it.
Yeah, it's actually written in English in the documents, which is crazy. So yeah, it's a kind of a confirmed name. We'll see.
I mean, they can change that's one of those things that they can so easily change.
Yeah, they can change it on the dime.
And I've had like this vision. We were talking about like the timeline of how long this game would last. But I've had this vision of Generation 10 or a Pokemon game that is like more living than it actually is. Like I feel like most Pokemon games, there are events like in ZA, right? We have the battle tournament. In Scarlet and Violet, they release, monthly shiny hunts and like Pokemon with like, increased odds for shiny, or maybe there's a raid that's really difficult. And those things are fun. But I feel like there's this really cool idea in my mind of a Pokemon game that could last 5, 6, 7 years. Like I'm just thinking about like, a normal game that does well, that, it'll take 7 years before the next one comes out. But that if the base game is good enough and resonates, like I think there's an opportunity, because there is a desire by fans to constantly revisit old regions or see new things or see new Pokemon or whatever, because that desire exists by fans. And I think there's an opportunity, instead of like churning out all of these like half-baked remakes. Instead, I think the opportunity would be to have this base game be awesome, but be like constantly added to with DLC over time. Listen, people say that's like, I don't know why people think DLC is like crazy or expensive, because DLC is cheaper than buying the second, like a revised deluxe version of the game. It's like half the price, except you get to keep your same save file. So like if we're playing Pokemon Wave or Pokemon Wind, and then a year later there's DLC that allows you to surf right in your, I'm imagining this like Poke ship or whatever. You have this like Ultra Lapras, whatever the legendary Pokemon is. You can now surf. Yeah, it's like now you can surf to the Mediterranean. You can surf to Paldea. You can surf to Unova. And I guess it's just this idea of like a multi-region Pokemon game. Like Heart Gold, Soul Silver put that bug in our brains, and for 20 years for 25 years that's been like the bar that no game has been able to live up to, even though it's way easier to make a 2-region game.
Scarlet and Violet
in the year 2000.
3 regions.
Yeah, exactly. I think Scarlet and Violet was like the prototype. Scarlet and Violet is what like made me realize that like this would actually be like a lot of fun, to have one game and it's like a hub game. It's like where you can travel to all these. Anyways, that's like my vision. I don't know if that's going to happen for Generation 10. Maybe it's a Gen 11 thing.
I mean, I actually think probably I agree with everything you just said. Like, I am down for all of that, and I really do think each game is a stepping stone. First of all, like what you were saying, Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, we stepped up to these levels, and I think that Generation 10 is another stepping stone, probably, but like a big one. I think they're really trying to go for it with this.
This time they had to hop to the next step and not just step.
Yeah, I do think that it's going to be very living game like, and I was saying this in one of our other podcasts or live streams. I think there's another game on the TeraLeak docket, and it was just codename Seed, and it was like very similarly put to what you just said, Dusty, but also to what Gen 10's like proposal essentially is, which is like a living game MMO. This one's even more MMO, and so I'm just thinking like, part of me thinks that the DLC for Gen 10, this game could have been converted into DLC for Gen 10. We don't know for sure. This is just total speculation. It's just like how it can all like mix and mash into one is an idea for me, because I just think them trying to make it last, trying to be a living game, I really do think that is part of their goal, because we even saw it in Scarlet and Violet, where we saw some MMO RPG elements in the online as well. So I do think it's possible for Generation 10 to be this as well.
So I have a thing to say, and then also a question for you two. First, just occurred to me, we didn't even say it. The region is supposed to be based off of Indonesia.
What?
Which
I love
is really cool. I don't know if I've like been looking at like Indonesian wildlife, and they got a lot of like what Australia gets. And so that's like, ooh, like I saw tree kangaroo, and I was like, yes, that is.
Bro, Australia is their neighbor. Australia's
it's right below them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, and you see like just to the right of this map is Papua New Guinea. So
it's amazing.
When
you look at that map just it makes me so excited for what it is. You know, like there's just so much going on there, and a Pokemon region like that would be incredible.
There's all these like fragments of land masses, all these like islands, and putting myself in this, like if I'm looking at this and it's a region, that seems so much fun to be able to like island hop. Imagine the Hoenn region or the Alola region, but instead of having like
islands.
Yeah. Imagine the 7 islands, but like actually a full scale game. You know, and I say that to Alola, and Alola was a full scale game, but like you couldn't actually travel in between islands.
Mantine
like
surf.
you could. Yeah, there's a mini game to connect you to the 2 islands, but it's not made for exploration, right? And in the Hoenn games, it's also all scaled down, even in the remake. So like in this Generation 10 game, like, you know, I'm imagining like we can surf and fly, we can dive, right? There's this verticality to the ocean, but also like you can go anywhere. Like there's not only verticality, but it's like even just surfing, you're constantly finding a new island that would have a new, you know, and this could be the procedurally generated, you know, I guess I'm imagining like maybe the island and the biomes are procedurally generated like Minecraft, but maybe just the Pokemon and the items are procedurally generated, right? I don't know. What you're looking at on screen is so cool. This map's cool because it's like all color coordinated, and I know nothing about Indonesia, but just seeing what I'm looking at right here, it's just kind of, I guess I appreciate that it's not just a giant square landmass, but instead it is an that concept is inverted, where like the mainland is the ocean and the islands are like the destinations, which is really cool.
I would also, there's so much that you said, and we should do a whole episode obviously on this, but like if you compare this to Hawaii, even if you look at this map and you look at Hawaii is like 4 islands, and this is just so many islands and so much bigger, you know. So I think that's a whole part of it, but also what you said with the procedural generation stuff is like only like 1 or 2 of these islands are meant to be that, so the rest of them will be like their own places, and then one island you go to is like generated over and over different ways. So there's a lot in there, and there's a lot of diversity, I would say, and it's really exciting.
Can I just say too, I'm really excited to go back to Asia for a Pokemon game.
Yeah.
I think, obviously Indonesia is very different from Japan, but I do think like, I don't know. I love the architecture of those regions, that part of the world, the music, like the kind of instruments they use and all. So I'm really excited for that. And if nothing else, like even aside from the fact that I do think some of Pokemon's best work was when they were working on the Japanese regions, including Kitakami, mind you. I do think there's just something to be excited that it's a change of scenery, a change of vibe. We've been in Europe and the United States for a while, and I'm an American. I like it here, but like it is nice to go somewhere that we haven't been before. We have not. Pokemon hasn't been in Asia outside of Japan, so that's exciting in itself.
That's true. That's a good point. Yeah.
I did want to ask
it's been like 15 years of just of Western countries,
right. And they do Asian countries better. Like they definitely know it more than us. I mean, Eastern countries are their thing.
We'll see though, because they were doing Japan. You know what I mean? So they were doing where they are. Like I could make a pretty good Carolinas region.
That's a really good point, Lumi.
But but I don't know if I could do a good California,
You know more about Canada probably than, someone in the East would know. That's what I mean. It's like they're nearby. So they have like influences over history and, like things that they learn in school that are related to that. And there's just similar cultures even. So a lot of times that'll be translated well, I think, in this. And
I guess, not to nitpick, but I guess the one thing I want to say in that is I do think as like East Coast Americans, I think anything Eastern is not East Coast, but anything, any nation that is like considered like an Eastern region in the world, I think inherently becomes, or we perceive it as inherently just more interesting because it is foreign to us.
Yeah, true.
I actually don't know if Game Freak specifically is doing Japan justice. These Japanese justice. I think it's just more interesting to us because we have no frame of reference. I think that's actually the truth.
Yeah, I always say like we're pretty ignorant in the whole culture thing anyway. So, who knows? Who really knows? But I'm excited.
I wanted to ask y'all, without seeing the legendaries, because I know that'll be a big part of it in the version exclusives, just your gut feeling. You picking Pokemon Wind or Pokemon Wave?
I gotta see the legend.
Yeah,
I know, but you just what do you feel? Which one do you think?
I mean, listen, when we do a deep dive, we can do even more on this. I think instantly I want to say Wind because that's my vibe. Yeah, of course you are.
Wave,
that's my vibe. But I think that the legendary of Wave is going to be better, and I'm going to be forced to pick that. I usually go with the blue version. I think Wind will be the blue version. You know what I mean? Like I'm usually over there. Like they have a specific what is it? Style to them, not
theming,
even vibe to them. Theming.
Vibe,
there you go. Yeah. To like the red or blue version, So anyway,
I'm gonna read this. This is from Pokios, Pokios.com. They have they've recapped some of this information.
We're gonna get into it then.
So this is it says that the box legendaries, and again, this is all information that came. This is all like stolen information. This is like
from a pitch too.
Yeah, this is all information that was stolen from Game Freak. It's like it's like all conceptual. Just like it's from a pitch from a game. So it's like this information could change. Everything that we're saying could change in the future. But this is likely because it's the next game. It's anticipated to be the next game. It's likely to be more than more real than false. But so the information for the box legendaries, this is from Pokios. It says central to the new story are the two legendary Pokemon that serve as the mascots for each version. One representing Storm for the wind, and other Wave, the water. The Storm legendary, known in early design notes as the Elder Guardian, lives alone on a remote storm-swept isle. Said to possess the power of the wind, it guides humans and Pokemon alike towards the right path, but only accepts those who have properly nurtured a certain, quote, seed Pokemon. Meanwhile, the Wave legendary, referred to as the Elder Matriarch, resides on an island untouched by humankind. Using the calm yet powerful force of the ocean, it also guides lost souls towards balance and understanding. Like its counterpart, it acknowledges only those trainers who have shown kindness and care in raising their seed Pokemon. And the seed Pokemon, and if you guys have I'm going to read this, but if off the top you have a better synopsis of the seed Pokemon,
it's
fire
a little
ahead.
Pokemon that is a pre-evolution of something, and the idea is that this is a Pokemon that you will encounter seemingly very early in the game, and you will be able to raise it. But the reason they're calling it a seed is because it will be procedurally generated. Your actions throughout the story will dictate what the Pokemon will look like when it evolves. So it'll have, we don't know the extent, but it'll have like a different pattern. I doubt it'll be anything huge like typing or abilities, but everyone should look a little different.
This is really, really cool. So it says, at the heart of the story lies a unique seed Pokemon, a small baby-like creature that players encounter at the beginning of their adventure in a sunny coastal resort area. Though it is considered rare, it is not mythical, but locals claim to see it occasionally. Yet no one has ever witnessed its evolution. Legends say that this Pokemon begins to evolve only when brought to the island where the legendary Storm and Wave dwell. Its evolution is described as having infinite possible forms, each shaped by how players train, bond with, and nurture it throughout their journey. This is really, really cool.
It's insane. I don't understand it as a concept. Like I do, but I'm just like, how does this go into Pokemon, you know?
I think it would be, if I could take a crack at it, I think it's just, it probably would have like 10 different evolutions. And depending on the choices you make and whatever they might be, everyone starts out with the same Pokemon, but it will evolve differently. And this is cool because like, when we talk about like an RPG or Pokemon games, we're like, oh, I wish our actions actually affected the gameplay. And in a Pokemon game, that needs to be adapted to the Pokemon universe, which is the choices you make in the game affect a Pokemon. So it's like, this will be like a secondary starter to you.
Yes.
Or dude, imagine this is literally our starter and we all have the same starter, but it evolves one of 3 different ways, depending on...
I think it's possible, but I do think they said something that there might still be the starters. I don't know.
There was like a thing that was like from the Terra leak on how you would meet the starters of the game. So it's implied that there are just regular starters that are separate.
But anything's possible. Anything
the way
can change.
I'm seeing it, absolutely. The way I'm seeing this is like, this is Pokemon Sun and Moon, but you have Cosmog.
That's kind of what it's like. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So we do have more information about this. I'm speculating, but there is more information. It says that the evolution of the seed Pokemon is also procedurally generated, featuring unique floral or fractal patterns, meaning every player's final form will be completely unique. And that is cool.
You're gonna love this thing if it makes the final cut, because it's apparently a plant. Like it's a grass Pokemon. So like you're gonna, for me instantly when I think of like a plant Pokemon, I'm like, I'm not excited by it, but I know you do. Well, so it's good.
Guess what I found last night in ZA? Alpha shiny Bellsprout.
Ooh,
nice.
I'm like
shiny.
I've like entered a new arc in my life. I'm like, just
the blue
shiny,
lips.
shiny Alpha Victory Bell, shiny Alpha Mega Victory Bell.
I was thinking about this while you were talking about it. Obviously, the goal when they're creating this Pokemon is they want you to use it, you know? They want you to take one of those precious 6 slots you have. You only get 6 of them, and they want you to fill one of those slots with this Pokemon. And so I was thinking, like, the design should be really interesting to see what they do, because they're obviously going to want to try to appeal to as many people, you know, where some Pokemon are like, you know, they're cool. They're going to appeal to the cool people. They're going to appeal to the edgelords or whatever. And some Pokemon are cutesy, and they're going to appeal more to like people who like a cute Pokemon, like a pet or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, like this one, they're going to try to get as many people as possible for, which is, I'm just curious how they'll pull that off. Also, it being a grass type, we don't know that for a fact, but based on it being like plant-like, I'm assuming that's interesting too, because if we're choosing between a grass, fire, and water starter like we do in every game, then this would discourage people from choosing the grass starter, or rather the grass starter discourage people from choosing this.
I kind of wonder if
it'd probably be normal, to be honest.
I mean, listen, they could do something weird. They could give it like 3 types or something, right? But also, yeah, you're right. It could be normal type. I guess I'm also thinking like, It could be like Nebby. It could be like Koraidon and Maraidon, where you don't actually get it until the end of the game.
I really see it more as an Eevee, to be honest. Even this image that you have up, that's kind of crazy. This is like a Eevee. Yeah, it has Eevee in it, and it is what is it, concept art, I guess, 3D art of what the region is supposed to be like. Scarlet and Violet had one similar to this, and everyone like loses their mind over it. That Scarlet and Violet didn't.
This isn't
look
exactly
like
what we're gonna get if you're looking at the screen,
because it's just a still shot concept art. Like the game can't move like this essentially. But it could be pretty close to this. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
so
yeah,
it depicts a character. There's a female character with an Eevee.
Nimona.
There's a Charmander. There's a but Nimona doesn't matter. But yeah, it's literally just
she's
a placeholder.
Great.
It's just a placeholder.
I know, but she's the best.
You got Snorlax in the background. There's giant old trees, right? Which depict like this is ancient land, and there's some other tropical plants as well. I think there's a Birds of Paradise.
My boy Charmander.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. There's Charmander there. There's really not much we can learn from this, but that is a pretty kind of a cool connection. Maybe they chose Eevee here as kind of a placeholder for that seed Pokemon,
because I think Eevee is
maybe functions similarly.
Yeah, Eevee is like the prototype to the seed Pokemon. But yeah, I think it's a pretty crazy idea. We'll see what happens. All I know is like that's the thing, like how much they're going to show throughout the year. Like, the seed Pokemon evolves into this.
Did they reveal the seed Pokemon on?
I don't
Pokemon
think
Day?
so. I actually don't think so. I think the starters are this show.
Sure,
but who knows?
Because they would have to reveal that, like you'd think, pretty early on. You know?
Maybe they tease it.
But so there is some more information we know about Generation 10, but it's kind of in the weeds. And is there anything top level that you guys want to talk about? Otherwise, I do want to move on to the rest of 2026 and beyond.
I mean, we'll get back to it right with the DLC eventually. So.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We do know that they have DLC planned for it. So, you know, there's that.
That's
but
pretty much.
I guess we'll talk about it later since there's a lot more stuff going on next year in 2026, which is really exciting. Whoa, don't mean to cut you off. I love hearing all of these wonderful, wonderful things from these wonderful, wonderful people. But
don't interrupt them.
I don't want to, but I gotta. Because we got to thank all the wonderful people who are in the Discord right now talking to us. Specifically, we want to shout out our mythical tier members, Ryan and Foziness, Coronet Highlander, Tyler Low 15, Normal Guy, Case, Gray Williams, Duke Norton, Louis Gervais, Ball Guy, Slowpoke Fan 24, Nicholas Taylor, The Pokey Kid 01, and Lethal Randy. We want to give a special shout out to our Arceus tier supporter, Red or Carson K, and we want to give a mega evolved shout out to our Game Freak Inc. level supporters, Bramtastic and Young Smokey and Young Smokey. Did I say that twice? I did, because he is a Game Freak Inc. member on both Patreon and YouTube.
2 times?
Which is insane.
2 times?
He still is.
Two times.
Oh my God.
He still is.
Oh my God.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
The support's insane.
Yeah, literally, this show is not possible without you guys, and you guys are hearing it. If you're listening to this right now, every single person who called in is a supporter. If you want to get on the next call-in show, links are in the description to become a member. Well, I guess just to be clear, you can be our lowest tier and get on the show in this capacity, but if you want your name read at every single tier, that's the mythical tier or up, but that second tier that we got going on, the box legendary tier, you'll get every perk that is in our lowest tier, but you'll also get a very special holiday gift that we're going to send directly to your house. This is the 3rd annual holiday gift that we've been sending out to everyone. So if you want to be eligible to receive a specifically packaged envelope with custom art and a custom message and maybe some Pokemon cards, maybe some stickers, maybe a little love letter from yours truly, sign up for the box legendary tier. You'll be absolutely supporting this show, and that is what you'll get in return. Wow,
worth it.
Yeah, absolutely worth it. But I don't even know where to go from here. I feel like there's actually like a million things I could be talking about. Legendary. Listen, at this lowest tier, this is the biggest plug. At the lowest tier, legendary tier, you get access to, like I said, most of the perks, and the biggest one is a whole extra podcast episode every single week. We released one a couple days ago. We released one the week before. We released one the week before. We released one the week before. And that goes on and on. You're basically doubling your, if you find yourself in the middle of the week, I guess it'd be what? If you find yourself going to work on a Friday and you're like, damn, I don't have enough to listen to. Guess what? Sign up for the legendary tier, and you're going to unlock so many episodes for you to binge.
Hours.
Either at work, on your commute.
Days, in fact.
Or while you're playing Legends ZA. So, listen, that's the plug. We appreciate you guys so much. We do this for you guys, so thank you so much. And, back to the episode. All right, and then I'll keep recording, and I'll do, we got new merch. All right, ready?
Ready.
Hold on. We actually have new merch. I wanted to tell you guys about this, right? We've had the Dream Eater line going for a couple months now. It's limited time, the Dream Eater merch, but just to make this a little bit sweeter, right now when we're recording this, there's a 15% off sale site-wide, shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. And not only that, that's not a sale on old stuff. That's a sale on brand new merch today. These are brand new hoodies. And you can't see it here in the art. You can see that the art is new on the hoodies on the back, but on the front of the hoodies, there's also original art. There's a completely new design that Noivi hooked us up with. That's brand new on the site right now. Go check that out. Link in the description. But it's not just Dream Eater. We also have a new hoodie for the Mega Evolution design that Noivi cooked up for us, and we have a new shiny hoodie variant that is available for our legendary Aura Zygarde t-shirt. This is so clean. If you this might be a spoiler. I don't think you can shiny hunt Zygarde in Legends EA. I'm assuming you can.
I doubt you can. You haven't been able to shiny hunt legendaries for some time.
I don't think so.
But you can shiny hunt this t-shirt or this sweatshirt. So shop.hiddenpowerpodcast.com. 15% off right now. That's higher. That's a bigger percentage than our supporters even get. 15% off until the end of October. Go check it out right now. We love you. Go back to the episode. So 2026, beyond Generation 10, we also can expect Pokemon Champions, which is really cool. And I guess again, we got to start keeping these a little bit brief because we can have full-on conversations about these.
100%.
But Pokemon Champions to me, has always seemed like a way to preserve the turn-based combat system so people can maintain, or the Pokemon Company can maintain that system for their VGC tournaments at Worlds. People can, and they can maintain that entire circuit and ecosystem.
I think it's also a way to maintain gimmicks and also possibly a solution to Dexit long-term.
Yeah, those are also perks. And so I guess the question is, does that mean Generation 10 is going to be more like Legends ZA, where it is action combat? Again, we can have a whole conversation about this, but let's all go around and say what we think. I think, yes, I think Generation 10 needs to be closer for battle to Legends ZA. I can't go back. I cannot go back to turn-based combat.
Can never go back. That's funny. I literally saw like a picture of a turn-based battle from like Gen 1 or something today, and I was like, I kind of miss it.
Yeah, but it makes sense in that context.
Yeah.
I just like just seeing the Pokemon and the Pokemon's bag and you doing like back and forth. I like it. I like turn-based. So anyway, I guess to answer your question, I think that they will. Is that what I want to happen?
Sure.
Not exactly. I think that they will do it. I just think that it's not going to be exactly ZAs either. I think it'll be like some kind of hybrid between turn-based and that still. Personally, that's my view on it. It's fun that I'm glad we did Gen 10 first because Pokemon Champions should come out before Pokemon Day. It should really be before it because we need to have it available for Worlds in August, in the same year. So, but it does. From the Terra League, we learned that Champions is supposed to last forever. Essentially, like there's no end date on it. So it really does put this whole thing in perspective to be like, okay, Champions is not a one-off game. It's gonna hold the the everything you guys just said, the playing style, turn-based style on it, and then what's going to happen? They're going to experiment with all the other games. So yeah, that's my long-winded answer.
Okay. I think that the most of the battles in Gen 10 will be turn-based, and that there will be whether it's in some kind of side thing or in the plot, but like in a subsection of the plot, similar to how with
or
Scarlet,
maybe...
well, and not even that, but like Scarlet and Violet had 3 quote unquote plots. You had the Path of Legends, which was the Titan battles with Arven, the Victory Road, which was the standard Gems Leagues with Nimona, and then Starfall Street with Penny. And that used the Let's Go feature. I think they might do something like that where a version of the ZA battle style, of that real-time battle style, is utilized. And maybe even just like the Let's Go feature, that's not limited to Starfall Street, right? You can just use that in the overworld. And so maybe that's how it works. The Synchro Machine too, that's a factor. We were told that was a beta version. Maybe there's the real version of it is in Gen 10, like the alpha version. So I think that you will get some kind of element of real-time battles in Gen 10. I do think that when you're battling your rival, when you're battling a gym leader, which by the way, that's another thing, they did mention gyms in the Terra League, so it seems like those are back. Then you could you'll be using the regular turn-based one.
Okay, yeah, I'd be on board with that. I guess I just want to see some like prog. I don't know. I'm thinking back, and I'm like, I have not had as much fun battling in in modern Pokemon games as I am having fun in ZA. Just thinking back, and I'm like, I haven't battled any of the optional NPCs in Scarlet and Violet. I do all my battling in the overworld with like the Let's Go feature in Scarlet and Violet, but in ZA, I'm like, it's like literally, it's so much fun to battle stuff.
Yeah, I do think that it's new though too. It's very new, so you probably feel that way. I think eventually you might miss turn-based, but
no, I think turn-based is good. I want to be clear. I think turn-based is good. I just don't like it in the 3D games.
Sure,
like like I'll take turn-based. I'll be happy to take turn-based when it comes to like if we get more faithful remakes, which isn't even like we're not even predicting that. But if we get more of those, if we get, how about this? Not faithful remakes. If we get more
ports,
if we get more remasters of the top-down pixel art games, then that makes sense for those to have turn-based, and it actually increases the value of those games in contrast to Generation 10 or the Legends titles.
Sure, yeah, that's a good point.
Because they actually they're completely different experiences.
Yeah, the more they split them up, I think the better. That's what I mean. Like, I would be happy with Gen 10 or the Generations to keep the turn-based. And then all of the Legends series has this really cool battling, and people can choose which one they want to do. You know what I mean? But that's just my personal view. I think whatever sells is what they're going to do. I think, and I'm okay with either, to be honest. It's just, I don't want turn-based to go away completely, and it won't in Champions, and that's a good solution, I think.
I do think the thing to think about when having this discussion is that, like, with Gen 10, that's great. That a lot of people have loved ZA's new battle system. Even though I prefer turn-based, I love ZA's battle system, and I'd be sad if they were like, next Legends game's going to have turn-based. I like the idea of both existing.
Sure.
But something to think about just from a developer standpoint is Gen 10 is probably pretty far into development, since we're going to get a trailer for it in 3 months and all this. So did they bank on ZA's battle system being
because they didn't know
and put it on this when you wouldn't know how?
Yeah, that's fair.
And it probably was developed alongside Gen 10 a little bit, in the same way that I think Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus might have been developed alongside each other a little bit, just based on the timing of their release.
Sure.
So it's like, how much crossover will there feasibly be?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's probably going to be a mix in Gen 10. I would think that they would have made a hybrid of it, but they could have just said, let's roll the dice, because they did make Champions for this reason. Yep. It wasn't just like, oh yeah, we're making Champions for ZA. We're making Champions for the next 10 years. So you know what I mean? It's kind of crazy.
So Pokemon Champions is coming out.
Gonna be hype.
We really don't have that much information about it, so I'm looking forward to playing this game. And I think I think it's going to be a really cool. Like, I guess what I'm just thinking about is like there's all these new like pillars, right? We have champions for battles. We have the Legends games have gone even further, and we're going to talk about this. There's another Legends game on the horizon. We have the mainline games doing something a little bit different. I would love to see ports, and then even our next item, Pokopia, which is not really. It's not really a Game Freak title, and it's not really tied into all of this, but I do think it has a lot of potential to be another juggernaut and a really successful spin-off game, Pokopia. This seems to be, I believe it's developed by the same people who have done, Dragon Quest Builders, and a lot of fans look at it. It kind of looks like Animal Crossing. It kind of looks like Minecraft visually. It's 3D. The world is blocky.
It's got a touch of Let's Go in there as well.
It does have a touch of Let's Go. Yeah, there's the blocky world of like the early Pokemon games when they were like depicted, as top-down pixel art games. It looks really charming and fun. It's like a farming sim. It's a true cozy game. We don't know that much about it. I'm excited to play though. I really am. I think this could be a game that personally I get a lot of enjoyment out of. I have not played Unite. I have not played Masters. I have not played any of these games. I played Sleep quite a bit. I played Sleep quite a bit, and then it just didn't seem worth.
I don't know if
time.
I could. I don't even know if you could compare those games to this, because this is a full-on game. Like
that's a good point.
I do want to say that this, so like just top level stuff like from the Terra League is that this used to be a Game Freak totally developed title. Like it was totally Game Freak. Yep. 100%. And then they like kind of scrapped it and then brought it back in and brought this other team in, and Game Freak is still over it. So it is still technically in their control. It's like kind of like BDSP, I guess.
Yeah.
The other things is it was meant to be like purposefully Minecraft and Animal Crossing and Pokemon put together. So like that's like it's the gist of it.
We saw an early build because when it was first developed, they did it under the project name. Every game has a project name. ZA's project name is Ikaku. The project name of this was Oasis, and then they scrapped it, and then they brought it back and revived it as Mega Oasis is now the name of the project name. And we saw an early build of Oasis, and it's very Stardew Valley. It looks completely different from what we have now seen from the first Pokopia trailer. But also too, I think it's just important to point out that they had pretty big plans for this game. They kind of like almost listed it as mainline. They said it was supposed to be a spiritual, and I think this is still there, a spiritual successor to Let's Go. And they even said at one point that they had plans for it to connect to Pokemon Home, and you to be able to bring your Pokemon from Pokemon Home to live on your island. Now, this was when it was Oasis.
That is so wild. That is so wild, because before the Terra League, like when Soul and I reacted to the announcement, that was like one of the things I feel like I was like feeling in my soul. I'm like, oh, imagine we can like connect this to Home and use my Pokemon in this way. Like that is something that I've actually kind of been like yearning for, right? It's like, let me catch Pokemon
your boy's
and go.
Been begging for a Pokemon Ranch remake for a long time.
No, absolutely. But it's like, I want to do stuff. Like I want to do stuff with my Pokemon that's not just battling,
Yeah.
This could be it. We'll see.
Now that said, the points against that would be that was the plan when it was Oasis and it was scrapped and then revived, and also back then it was under Game Freak's control. Well, now since it's still under their control, but it was being developed.
It is.
Their name is right on it. Developed by another company. Things very well. This project has changed a lot, so expect that this could be one of the changes.
I'm very hopeful for the whole thing. I think we're going to be blown away. I think this is going to be a bigger contender than what we're thinking. Obviously, it only appeals to a certain crowd, but that still could be us. You know what I mean? Like, I think that it'll excited. Surprise us. Yeah. I think it'll surprise us in the content that it has, and like it being an actual fully fledged out game.
It's also it's planned to have DLC. I think that's worth mentioning as well.
Yeah, that is crazy. Yeah. We didn't even put this on here. I forgot about it. It's supposed to come out in the spring, kind of where I was saying earlier, in that like April, May window. I would imagine April, to be honest. But so it comes out in April, and then DLC for it could come out later on in the year as well. It's
cool.
separate. So yeah, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say we'll have to wait and see. Like, I'm optimistic about Pokopia. I feel like we don't know enough about it, and it's cool to see some of the information from the Terra League about like its development. But like, nothing has been really confirmed.
To give a release date for it too, since that's also kind of the purpose here. It's looking like spring based on what the Japanese trailer said for it. It seems like it's going to be spring of 2026.
Yeah.
So I'm eyeing like late April through May.
Yeah. But moving on, I'll say this for our listeners: Pokemon ports are confirmed. we are getting Pokemon Coliseum and XD Gale of Darkness in 2026. That has been confirmed for those will be releasing on NSO for the GameCube app. However, I also have been holding my breath for 4 years on receiving Pokemon ports for classic Pokemon games Red, Blue, and Yellow, Gold, Silver, Crystal, Fire Red, Leaf Green, Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald. I would be happy with any of those. I think those are great games, and my position now is I actually don't like, as much as I would enjoy those games, I actually don't think those games would deter anyone from buying a new Pokemon game. I think they actually, like, in my mind, they're high value and they're great and they are an asset. But if I don't know, I see people saying like they're not going to release those ports because they want to sell the latest and greatest. I think there's no comparison. There's no comparison unless Game Freak is planning, or maybe they're working with Pokemon Works or another company to produce some faithful remakes or some 3D remasters of some of these top-down games. I do think these ports could compete with those titles, but as a whole, I think I'm just expecting for the 30th year anniversary some of these ports to make it to NSO, or maybe a bundle pack. As you can see on screen right now, there is some art of a Switch 2 game depicting kind of like a Pokemon Classic collection, and that would be really fun. And it would be cool to have a physical product like that. I think the idea for me, really all I care about next to playing the games is being able to connect these games to Pokemon Home.
Yeah, which would be their purpose, I'd say.
Yeah. And I guess the evidence I have for this is on the 20th year anniversary of the franchise, they did release Red, Blue, and Yellow on the eShop for the 3DS. And then the next year, they released Gold, Silver, Crystal for the eShop. And those even had like physical releases, like temporary physical releases, which is kind of cool. Yeah. And I would love to see something similar to that. This is a pipe dream. This is a running joke on the podcast. I think these are, I'm someone who likes to replay Pokemon games, and I have all the games, but I'm realizing over the last 5 years that it's become harder and harder to play those games and then connect those games to, and bring those Pokemon up to bank, into home, yada yada yada. Like it's a headache, and I'm like, if they just make them available on the Switch, especially now that we have the Switch 2, like where everything on the Switch is considered part of the Switch 2 ecosystem, give us the ports. And then again, my pitch is like the 3DS, the DS era, you could play every single Pokemon region on those systems. And
I think it's
happening. I want that to return. I want that to be for the Switch too.
See, I knew Lumi was going to say I think it's happening. I'm like of the opposite side. I think that with all of this on the docket, like all of this stuff, I think the chances of it has lessened dramatically. I think maybe 2027 though, if we're looking that far ahead, I could see, because you even mentioned it, Dusty, they started releasing like the older games in the 20th anniversary. Yeah, Gold and Silver, like the year after too. And I think that that's still possible. I just think there's so much going on right now. I also think they won't release those. I really believe this. They won't release those like on NSO specifically. I think this classic collection makes way more sense. And since we didn't see a classic collection in the Terra League or anywhere to be found, like there's no like game of them all to put together. I think
if that was in the Terra League, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know how they're going to do it, but I do I think it'll happen eventually. I just don't know. I don't think that this might not be the year because there's just so much going on. I don't know.
I'm thinking it's 30th anniversary. Last time they did it was the 20th anniversary.
They could announce it though and just be like, "Hey, next year though, it's coming."
Yeah. I think we'll get an announcement. I don't think it will necessarily drop next year, but I think we will start hearing about plans to make it happen. Because another thing is either this year or last year, it's all run together. But you did have the shutdown of the 3DS eShop. So those games are now no longer available. And once that happens, there's now obviously a little like cha-ching, Mr.
Yeah, there's an
Krabs' money
opportunity
eyes,
for those games to be re-released, so they're actually available. Yeah. And so I don't know. I don't want to harp on this too much, but I think it really is something that is.
All I have to say.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is something that they could release, and it's just like a simple thing. It's a cash grab, but they don't need to spend a lot of time on it. And I also think not like we talk about Pokemon Home being the reason why things should, why new games should come out so we can have everything in home. But Pokemon Champions is right there as well. Like if Pokemon Champions is releasing with, I don't know, 300 Pokemon, guess what? If they re-release Red, Blue, and Yellow, now you can bring every single one of those Pokemon into Champions. And then guess what? 6 months later, Gold, Silver, and Crystal. Guess what? Now all of those Pokemon can go into Champions.
Maybe that's Sapphire, Emerald,
and maybe that's how they do it. It's a good way to help that game like kind of live too.
Yeah.
Where like you go, hey, since Gold and Silver's launching this month on the Pokemon collections, we're releasing that. Pokemon Champions is going to do Johto month. From now, ranked battles this month are only going to use Gen 2 Pokemon or whatever, like the ideas are there and they're a lot of fun.
That's
Pokemon
hilarious.
Champions is like inherently nostalgic.
Yeah.
Pokemon Champions is literally all about I believe it literally will be the old guard, the old form of battle, right? So it's like, what better way to tie it all together than release the games that you originally, those original experiences, re-release those, make those available, so then you can do that and then use those Pokemon in competition. It's perfect to me.
I mean, by the way, it could be the old guard. I think they don't know themselves. I think they're just trying it and seeing, but it could become that because it's like, oh, everyone just really wants this more action-based battling, so we're just gonna just really push Champions as the old way to do it and move that way. But I think right now it's just an experiment. Just a side note. But I thought it was hilarious that you brought up that it being connected to like ports, because I literally had the idea like, what if they ported the games into Champions and like put them together? And I was like, that's not a logical idea.
I don't think it will be like in Champions, but they'll definitely tie it together. You know what I mean? It makes sense because it also sells your products, right? If I'm actively promoting Champions alongside Gold and Silver, then I'm actively selling Champions because there is probably going to be like a paid version in there. And then with Champions, if I'm actively talking about Johto and how there's a new Johto game every 5 minutes, I'm actively pushing that Johto game, the Lumiose Museum and Legends EA, a whole gallery for Legends Arceus. Guess what? That sells Legends Arceus. You know how many people were like, I never played that game. I gotta play this. This looks pretty cool. Or they're nostalgic, so they're gonna go, that, it's all at the end of the day, there's gonna be an element to push sales, that's how you do business. I do want to say on the next point, the new anime, like there's something I realized is because, just real quick, there'll be a new anime after Horizons. Horizons is very Gen 9 pilled. So when we switch over to Gen 10, there will be a new anime. Maybe it'd continue with Liko and Roy. I highly doubt that, given that their partner Pokemon are Gen 9 pilled. It's Crocolore and Meowscarada. But I did want to say too, guys, this is the 30th anniversary. It's a new generation. For the 20th anniversary, we got this little side series. It was called Pokemon, like really short, but it was called Pokemon Generations. 25th anniversary, we got Pokemon Evolutions. And it was just like these little shorts revisiting like classic moments from Pokemon games and stuff. And then we even, with Scarlet and Violet, got Twilight Wings, I believe, or not Scarlet and Violet, Sword and Shield. It was Twilight Wings.
So what you're saying is a mini series,
and then I think like I just realized like the new anime is exciting, but also too we might get one of those like really well made like short web series.
See, I thought you were gonna. No,
there
that's
was
really
one
cool.
for Sui too. Yeah.
I guess I thought you were gonna say, because that is cool, and I guess they could do that on ZA. They could do that for
ZA.
just in Lumios.
Oh
Yeah.
But I thought you were gonna say we're getting a new anime. It's the 30th year anniversary. Ash comes back, but Ash comes back, and we get a new 3-year series with Ash. But it's like a proper anime like Horizons.
I think it could happen. I really do.
It's possible for sure.
Especially because, Horizons actually began, even though Scarlet and Violet came out in November of 2022, Horizons did not begin until April of 2023. So there's a chance that Horizons actually runs past November a little bit, even though like that's when Gen 10 would come out. It might run past it a little bit. And then what you do is you bring back Ash Ketchum for the new anime series that starts April 2027. And now look, that also happens to be the first episode of the Pokemon anime with Ash Ketchum aired in April of 1997. So it's not just the 30th anniversary. It's now the 30th when you'd be airing this. It's now the 30th anniversary of the Pokemon anime. Bring back Ash Ketchum.
Dude, that's big. That's big.
It's been long enough, so I could see it. And this wasn't so successful, a Horizons outing. So we'll see.
We also have the announcement of Pokemon XP being like a simultaneous event. It's like a proper branded, I guess like it's the fan hangout. It's the expo. It's the convention for Pokemon fans that will run alongside Pokemon Worlds. And this is cool. I think it's more or less going to be the same experience as what Pokemon Worlds has been over the last 5-10 years. But I like the idea that these two things are separating, because now contestants or not contestants, but competitors for, at Pokemon Worlds can do their thing. And with the separation where fans can kind of do, I guess like fans in, is there another term? I don't know. Fans, people of interest. I don't know. Anyone else who's not there for
anyone.
You're right. Anyone who's there not for competition can now be in a separate hall at Pokemon XP at that event. And it is cool. I guess I'm thinking about other conventions that I've gone to, and like they could be getting, notable, not only they've done a lot of stuff with like influencers, but they could just get like notable people in the Pokemon space, right? To do meet and greets or speeches or, keynotes, whatever. And that's kind of, I don't know, that's cool to me. They could actually have like proper fan events that, that we might see prop up over the next couple of years.
Apparently a lot of it's outside. So I don't but I agree 100% with everything you're saying. But it's like a whole theme park kind of thing, like a tiny theme park, essentially.
Outside in California in the heat of summer. That'll be fun.
It's kind of northern, I guess, California, but yeah.
Pokepark Kanto was also announced to start in 2026. I don't know too much about this. I guess it's literally a theme park, or some sort of, I guess you could call it a theme park.
It is a theme park. I mean, it's got a carousel, and it's got this like, the Dumbo ride where you're in a thing that's like flying. They've got one of those with Pikachu's on the concept art. Yeah. So it's a theme park.
Yeah. Yeah. So the idea here is that like eventually that could grow, and maybe there ends up being Lumi. Do you want to talk about this? This is something that you care about.
This is Lumi's thing. Because to me, I'm like, I don't know.
So like something whatever. I'm pretty sure they are. I'm like fact checking myself right now before I say something that's incorrect. But yeah, okay. So they are doing other Pokeparks. Pokepark Kanto is releasing next year, and we have the most information on that. But they have said we are doing ones. They've already said they're doing one in Paris. So you can automatically like theme that around Kalos, and then they definitely could plan them in other places too. But my thought is we've recently seen that Nintendo has had like a deal with Universal Studios, where Universal has a Super Nintendo World now, and so far it is purely Mario themed, but interestingly enough, there actually is a gift shop there that has like you can get Legend of Zelda merch. They even have like a Legend of Zelda mosaic on the ground. I'm pretty sure you can get Pokemon merch there. And they and this is just to show that this relationship is working out for both parties. Universal earlier this year in 2025, they expanded Universal with Epic Universe, and in this expansion was like a little expansion to Super Nintendo World where like they added a Donkey Kong themed roller coaster. And so I'm just saying that since Nintendo already has an established relationship with Universal, which by the way, in Universal Japan, they actually do Pokemon parades there already. There's no Pokemon like world, but they do Pokemon parades there. That's only in the Japanese one though. I think we very well could get to a place where maybe in the next 3 years where we might see an announcement that, hey, we're expanding Super Nintendo World to include other Nintendo IP. If I'm completely honest with you guys, I think the next move would be Legend of Zelda, because they are making a movie on that, just like how Mario, it kind of coincided with the release of the Mario movie, and then there is a lot more Zelda stuff in the parks already than there is Pokemon stuff. But I do think Pokepark Kanto shows Pokemon has an interest in the theme parks game. Pokemon Parade in Universal Japan shows they have an interest in the theme park game. Nintendo having a great relationship with Universal shows that I would not rule it out that in 3 years we see an announcement. It wouldn't release in 3 years. It wouldn't happen in 3 years. But in 3 years, I think we could see an announcement in there that, hey, we're having talks.
Yeah,
you know? For sure.
No, that's
love it.
And listen, if it's convenient for me, I would go. I think that would be fun. Yeah, it's not a priority list for me, but I think a lot of people would get enjoyment out of that, and it would be pretty cool. Like I feel like I'm always kind of a little apprehensive to go to any event like that. But when I am actually at a theme park or amusement park or at a convention, it's pretty awesome. It is pretty awesome. Like I've been to the Nintendo store in New York, and they have a giant Bowser, and I'm like, this is awesome. This is so cool. Yeah. It's so cool. It's a lot of fun.
That's cool.
Yeah.
People love the Super Nintendo World. They eat it up. They say it's very cool.
Yeah. So I guess, okay, if we're looking at 2026, right, these are all the things that we are anticipating to, kind of be released next year. But Generation 10, we're really not going to be getting it until the end of the year, right? November. Right. So we get, end of November, we finally get our hands on Generation 10. We're playing the heck out of it. We're recording all these podcasts, right? We're playing the game. That's going to be a really fun time. Couple months later, Pokemon Day 2027, I guess we're expecting or not expecting, but curious if there's going to be DLC. And I guess we kind of have confirmation.
TeraLeague says they have plans for DLC for it.
It's a safe bet. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did the TeraLeague say anything about what the contents of the DLC would be? Because if I'm being honest, we don't even have the game. So I'm like, what would it be? More of the same? More islands to go to?
They just said that they have plans for DLC. They also did make a point in the TeraLeague to point out that there was an issue with Scarlet and Violet where Scarlet and Violet, the base game was not made with DLC in mind. Even though they knew they were going to do it, they didn't build the game that way, and there were problems then when they tried to add DLC. So they actually said from now on, they will be developing all of their games, regardless of if they're getting DLC, to basically be set up to where they could get DLC. That way, if they decide to do it, there's not any complications. But DLC's been successful for them. They're going to do it again. And I think something interesting that I've been thinking for a while for the Gen 10 DLC is that with Scarlet and Violet's DLC, we saw us go to Kitakami, a brand new region that's not Paldea, and then we went to Blueberry Academy, which is a piece of Unova. The original plan, however, the original pitch was for us to go to the Kalos region and then to the Alola region. And so I'm thinking, all right, at one point they had plans for us to go to Alola. Alola is Hawaii, which isn't terribly far from Indonesia. It's not too far out of the question.
Not exactly close either. But
it's not exactly close, but like it's in the Pacific area. You know what I mean? If we can go from Spain to Japan, we can go to Indonesia to Hawaii. True.
There's no limit.
But factor in the fact that also we do know that they have these kinds of they had plans at one point for some kind of Alola DLC. Then you factor in the fact that we know Champions is going to have at some point all the gimmicks in it. That's an easy tie-in for adding Z moves and champions. Like,
Ooh.
you see on the docket that we have Legends Galar at some point, so I imagine they're going to use that to go, hey, here's why we're bringing Dynamax. And I mean, you've got it on the screen.
No, I know. That's cool. That's cool. I like this.
But that's why you bring back Dynamax. So you do DLC in Alola, you bring back Z moves. Also, too, a big theme of Gen 10 is supposed to be nature and the environment. That's very Alola had a lot of that. In fact, one of the gimmicks for the game is supposed to be like weather based forms and moves, and the Tapus are like these Pokemon that literally dictate the environment around them and all that. It works really well, I think.
I see the vision.
So that's my pitch. Is that Gen 10 DLC, at least one part of it is Alola.
I like this a lot.
Yeah, of course they could have just cut that completely. There's always the option that they just were like, you know what, we were going to do Alola and Kalos, but they were going to do Kalos for Scarlet and Violet DLC, and then we get a Kalos game afterwards. So
a Kalos game, by the way, set entirely within a city.
In one place.
Yeah, which is how
could have
DLC
been the
works,
DLC.
Right?
Yeah, it could have been the DLC. It could have been like, hey, we're gonna do DLC for Scarlet and Violet, and it is going to be set in Lumio City, just this one part of it. DLC 1, Lumio City. DLC 2, one island of Alola. So they could have just pushed back that island of Alola to Gen 10's DLC. You know, it's very, very well thought out.
And just saying too, Hawaii has a little bit more than one island, or 4 islands. I mean, and we only have 4 islands of Alola.
Yeah. Some little ones around there.
So you easily could do like a new island of Alola. And then that's kind of fun because that's an easy explainer for why there's, look at that. There's new Z moves. Now this Pokemon gets an exclusive Z move.
And then you get the Ultra Beast in there.
Tapu,
That's honestly, that's actually so sick. That's cool. You're right. A new Tapu for those other smaller islands. That's cool.
Yeah.
Man, all right. Well, listen, that almost makes me want to do a whole video just on the Alola region. But the last,
Anytime, man,
again, we're talking about 2026 and now 2027. But I think what we're trying to take a look at is this whole entire Generation 10 era, and that does expand into 2028. This is not really as far as maybe you would think it would be. And one of the primary things, one of the most significant things that we saw in the proposed roadmap within the Game Freak's proposed roadmap within the Terra League was that there is a planned Pokemon Legends Galar game. And listen, we're going to do a whole episode diving into this, but I think it's funny that we got this information right before Legends EA, because as I'm playing Legends EA, because I was primed with that knowledge, there are so many references to the Galar region, deliberate references to the Galar region. And
not only that,
I'm so excited.
Just from what we know about the DLC, like we've got a list of returning Pokemon, and it looks very Galar pilled as well, in my opinion. Like there's a lot of Galar staples returning. Almost all the Galarian forms or evolutions are returning. It's interesting. It's interesting. There is direct and overt references to the Darkest Day in Galar. So not just like a casual like, hey, I'm from Galar.
Yeah.
No, it's like, remember when this horrible thing happened in the Galar region? They are drawing attention to it. They're not just mentioning it. They mentioned Unova. They mentioned Alola. They mentioned Paldea. They are throwing up Galar.
It's true. And as the time goes on, I really do expect and do see that like the newer people at Game Freak, maybe that's just speculation, but people at Game Freak are like, they listen to what the fans say and do. They listen to some of this stuff that we're speculating on. Like it's all around. And so I think that they start to put even more and more obvious hints in their games. Like people are paying attention to like they're like, people are paying attention to what we say in our games. So we might as well put a little something here, a little something there. And it's very obvious in this game in ZA that there's a lot of Galar references there. From the Terra League, we saw literal images of like their development of the game. So there's it's actually already essentially in development at this point. So it's very,
there was concept art. There was like,
it definitely would be at this point. This is from the Terra Leak, which was August of 2024 was when that data was stolen,
So
It's crazy because there was also so much like Generation 8 concept, I guess, like beta art, beta Pokemon, scrapped concepts. And it's wild because all of that Generation 8 content that didn't make it into the final game, like now that we're able to like look at these images and read the files, like it makes you wonder if any of that could show back up in another Legends game. I think also for me what's really exciting, what's really exciting is that the idea that we're getting a Legends game or another game that takes place in a region that was only introduced to us 6 years ago is really exciting. It means Game Freak is actually being proactive when they're planning out not only their video game titles, but also the stories within the canon, right? I think for a long time, these remakes and, anytime we revisited something in the past, it felt like kind of ad hoc, like Game Freak was just making something up, just like to retcon old content or retcon old stories. They were trying to make sense and bring that older stuff into our modern understanding of the Pokemon world. And I feel like my hope is that this new Legends Galar game, like, basically builds upon all of the seeds that we don't even know about, right? That were established in Sword and Shield. What was that? Literally 6 years ago? I don't know. It's insane.
More.
It was it's
7
6 years ago. It was 2019 is when it released. So at the time,
like, it's crazy. It's crazy to me. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, are they planning a return to Paldea? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Gen 10 DLC, I said Alola. Maybe it's Kalos again, man. Who knows? Yeah,
it could be.
It's Kalos forever.
I'm fine with that, unironically.
Yeah. Well, do you guys have any closing thoughts?
I'm excited, man.
It's so hype, bro. We are in the best hype season for Pokemon fans right now. I'm so pumped. Once 2027 comes around, we might finally have a little lull. But from literally July of 2025 to February 2027, it's just nonstop Pokemon hype. We're just look at the list. It's just nonstop, and people, if you're a Pokemon fan, you should be happy about it. We're eating good.
Absolutely good. And I'll say go into the description, also the pinned comment, to support Alestral's Awakened. This game looks really promising, and it takes so many aspects that we talk about right here on the podcast about what we want to see in a Pokemon game. This game is literally built by Pokemon fans, and I'm really excited to play it. We're almost at the goal, but we gotta support it. Links are in the description. Use our link, and also let us know in the comments what you guys want to see and what you're most excited to see in the coming years, in this coming generation. But also, if you think we've missed anything, let us know in the comments below. We read all the comments, even the nasty ones. We love you guys. We're not going anywhere.
Even the nasty ones. We love y'all too.
Every episode of Hidden Power is available on our YouTube channel. Go check that out. See you guys. Bye.
Bye.